Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Sant Kishore Prasad, University Department of Chemistry, Nilambar Pitambar University, Medininagar, Palamu, Jharkhand. Welcome once again to all of you of PG Chemistry Semester 2nd, Paper CC4 group. In continuation of the previous classes, today I am going to discuss other terminology used in classical thermodynamics. A state function, path function and their differentials. Thermodynamic property or quantity which change in the value depends upon its values in the initial and final states and is independent of the path by which the change has been carried out is called a state function. For example, internal energy is a state function because its change delta U equal to UF minus UI depends only upon its value in the final state and initial state UI. UF is the internal energy in final state and UI denotes internal energy in the initial state. Path function is that thermodynamic quantity whose change in value during a process depends upon the path that is followed. For example, heat, which is denoted by Q, and work denoted by W, are path functions and not state functions. Since its value depend upon the path followed, not initial state and final states. Differentiation and integration of only state functions can be performed when process occurs slowly. Let us remember that a small d stands for differentiation in calculus, and therefore a small change in internal energy can be represented by dE. Or dE. Just see. But we cannot represent a small change in heat and work by dQ and dW. We should represent them appropriately by a small delta Q and a small delta W, like this. Or D, a small d not Q, and a small d not W, respectively, like this. In view of the above, we can say that internal energy is a definite property and is an exact differential. Heat and work do not qualify for these terms. In other words, heat and work is not exact differential. Now come to the thermodynamic property. Any property which depends only on the state of the system and not on the way by which it is brought to the state is called thermodynamic property. Pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, etc. are examples of thermodynamic property. Next term is thermodynamic equilibrium. When a system does not show further tendency to change its microscopic property with time, it is said to have attained a state of thermodynamic equilibrium. For attainment of complete equilibrium, three different types of equilibrium must exist simultaneously. First, thermal equilibrium. When the temperature of all parts of the system remains the same and identical with that of surroundings, the system is said to be in thermal equilibrium. In this state, there should be no flow of heat from one portion of the system to another. Second is chemical equilibrium. This equilibrium implies that no change in chemical composition should occur spontaneously with time in any part of the system. And third is mechanical equilibrium. When no work is done by one part of the system over another, or no microscopic movement of matter takes place within the system or with respect to its surroundings, the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium. This can be achieved when the pressure of the system remains constant, or when there is no unbalanced force existing between the system and surroundings. Now come to the thermodynamic process. It is defined as thermodynamic process is the path or operation by which a system changes from one state to another state. In general, it may be of following types. First, isothermal process. Iso means same. The process which occurs at constant temperature is called isothermal process. Again, the process which occurs at constant temperature is called isothermal process. For a perfect gas, an isothermal change is represented by Boyle's law. PV equal to constant. PV equal to constant. means pressure multiplied by volume is equal to a constant quantity. In this system, heat can flow from the system to the surroundings and vice versa, means from surrounding to the system, in order to keep the temperature of the system constant. Second is adiabatic process. When a process is carried out under such conditions that no exchange of heat takes place between the system and the surroundings, the process is called adiabatic process. Again, when a process is carried out under such conditions that no exchange of heat takes place between the system and its surroundings, the process is termed as adiabatic process. In this process, the system is completely insulated from the surroundings. The temperature of an isothermal process remains constant during each stage of operation, since the system can exchange heat energy with its surroundings. On the other hand, the temperature of an adiabatic process changes because the system cannot exchange heat with its surrounding. This is main difference between these two processes, that is isothermal process and adiabatic process. Next process is isobaric process. The process in which the pressure of the system remains constant during each step of the change in the state of a system is called isobaric process. Here bar is for pressure. Iso means same. So the process is known as isobaric process. Next is process is isochoric process. If the volume of the system remains constant during each state of the process is called isochoric process. We can say in isochoric process, the change in volume is zero. Next process is cyclic process. When a system, after passing a series of changes, comes back to its original state, then this is called a cyclic process. If a series of changes are conducted at a constant temperature, the cycle is known as an isothermal cycle. If the changes are carried out reversibly, then the cycle is known as a reversible cycle. We will define reversible process later on. A well-known cyclic process is Carnot cycle that you have read in undergraduate classes. In cyclic process, change in internal energy is zero. since the system returns to the initial state, so the difference of internal energy becomes zero, and change in internal energy from first law of thermodynamics is equal to Q minus W. Therefore, Q minus W is equal to 0. Therefore, Q equal to W. Q denotes heat and W denotes work done. And delta U is net change in internal energy. Now come to the reversible process. This is very important process in thermodynamics, which may be defined as a process in which the change from one state to the other is brought about very slowly, so that all changes occurring in the direct process can be exactly reversed, and the system remains almost in a state of equilibrium at all times, is known as reversible process. In this process, the equilibrium is maintained during the change of the state. It is a special type of process. Strictly speaking, a reversible process is almost impossible, as it would require an infinite time for completion. But a process can be made very nearly reversible in some cases. For example, if an opposing electromotive force is applied to a cell, then no current flows if the opposing EMF is exactly equal to that of the cell. But if the opposing electromotive force is infinitesimally, that is very slightly less than that of the cell, a very small current is given out by the cell. If the opposing EMF is slightly greater than that of the cell, a very small current flows in the opposite direction. Just reverse of reversible process, irreversible process, which may be defined as the process which is not carried out infinitesimally slowly. Instead, it is carried out rapidly, that is fastly, so that the successive steps of the direct process cannot be retraced, and any change in the external conditions disturbs the equilibrium. Such process is called irreversible process. This process occurs spontaneously, that is, by itself. For example, all naturally occurring processes like the flow of water down a hill or the flow of heat from a hot end to a cold end of an iron bar, sudden expansion of gas against very low external pressure, for example, bursting of tire, diffusion of gases, etc., are thermodynamically irreversible. Now come to zeroth law of thermodynamics. This law was formulated after the first and second laws of thermodynamics have been enunciated. This law forms the basis of concept of temperature. It can be stated as if two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system, then they must be in thermal equilibrium with each other. Again, if two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system, then they must be in thermal equilibrium with each other. To understand this law, consider three fluids, say A, B, C. Suppose PA, VA represent the pressure and volume of A, PB, VB the pressure and volume of B, and PC and VC the pressure and volume of C, then thermal equilibrium with each other is represented by phi 1 PAVA equal to phi 2 PBVB equal to phi 3 PCVC, like this. From this equation, it follows that all the three functions of thermal equilibrium have the same numerical value, but the parameters pressure, volume of each are different. This numerical value is termed as the temperature of the body. That is psi, which is function of pressure, volume equal to T, like. Therefore, the temperature of a system can be defined as temperature is the property which determines whether the body is in thermal equilibrium with the neighboring systems or not. Now we will study first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics is actually the conservation of energy. The principle of conservation of energy has been universally accepted as a basic law of nature and is retitled as the first law of thermodynamics. There are various ways of enunciating the first law of thermodynamics. Some importance are: first, energy in one form, if it disappears, will make its appearance in an exactly equivalent quantity of another. Energy in one form, if it disappears, will make its appearance in an exactly equivalent quantity of another. Means one form of energy is converted to other form of energy in the same amount. Second statement is, when work is transformed into heat or heat into work, the quantity of work is mechanically equivalent to the quantity of heat. This statement was given by Joule and Maxwell. Finds valid applications in engineering thermodynamics. Third is, it is never possible to construct a perpetual motion machine that could produce work without consuming any energy. Here the term perpetual motion machine may be defined as a thermal machine which may operate without any expenditure of fuel and may thus create energy out of nowhere, is generally called a perpetual machine of first kind. Now come to the mathematical statement of the first law of thermodynamics, which is very important. This may be stated as, when some amount of heat is supplied to a system, a part of it is used to increase the internal energy of the system and rest part to do some work. This work may be mechanical or electrical. Again, when some amount of heat is supplied to a system, a part of this heat is used to increase the internal energy of the system and other part to do some work. Mathematically, it may be denoted by a small q equal to delta U plus minus a small w. a small q delta U plus delta W. Delta U is the increase in internal energy or change in internal energy, and W is the work done. Which work done may be positive or negative. When work is done by the surrounding on the system, W is positive. During the compression of a gas, if a gas is kept in a cylinder fitted with a piston, and when the volume is decreased by the pressure of the surrounding, that is external pressure, then this work done is taken as positive. And when work is done by the system on the surrounding, as during the expansion of a gas, the work done is taken as negative, because performance of work requires expenditure of energy. Now, work done, a small w, is equal to pressure into change in volume. Therefore, heat a small q equal to change in internal energy delta U plus minus pressure into change in volume. Q delta U plus minus P pressure into change in volume. Since work done is equal to pressure into delta V. If the changes are very small, this equation may be written as a small delta Q equal to a small du plus minus pressure into a small dV. Like this. Equation 1, the above equation 1 and 2 are the mathematical statement, and this equation is the differential form of the first law of thermodynamics. In the next class, we will study second law of thermodynamics, heat contents, and other important terms. Thank you.